nutritionist who my set patients had contacted and was having counseling and sessions with. The nutritionist who came in is Sandra. She came in to tell me that my patient has been doing well. They met 4 weeks prior, and she showed me his blood sugar when he came in, and the fact that his blood sugar has gone down to 192 for the first time. But my patient decided that he was taking a break. So she came in to ask if I can intervene and have him continue his sessions. So on further questioning, I found out that what she actually does is nutrition like no other. She focuses on African foods, Black people food. I've never had that before. I know about a conventional nutritionist, and I immediately asked her if she can come today on this forum, since we had planned to bring a nutritionist here. So the Lord brought her. I needed to share that testimony because it's a testimony when we were looking for a nutritionist to come in, trying to vet which one will be best for our population. And here comes a nutritionist who all she does is treats Black people food or diet. So before Sandra is introduced or given the platform, I just want to mention that for anyone who has concerns about blood sugar, normal blood sugars is normally below 99, fasting. However, if somebody has diabetes, when we ask, when did you eat last? What did you eat? The reason we're doing that is because the blood sugar actually has a range depending on when one ate last. So 2 hours postprandial, as we call it, which is 2 hours after somebody has eaten, their blood sugar should be below 140. But beyond 2 hours, soon after, it should go back to below 99. So I wouldn't belabor that because the topic today is not diabetes. I just wanted to mention that because I know Sandra may be talking about blood sugar, since the patient who brought her to me, which she came to seek help for, is a diabetic patient, is why I decided to mention that. So without belaboring things, I will yield to Sandra. Sandra, please introduce yourself better with your last name. I don't want to crucify it.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry, my lighting is not the best. My name is Sandra, and I'm a nutritionist and a weight loss specialist, NASM certified, and I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm sure. First, I want to start by saying thank you very much, Dr. O, for giving me this platform. And I really appreciate the fact that I'm here today. And I hope in one way or another, I'll be able to, help someone today, or maybe just leave some knowledge on nutrition that is going to help someone in their health or generally in life when it comes to nutrition. So first things first, nutrition is not something that I stumbled into. I actually went looking to become a nutritionist for myself. Just to give a little background, I'm a practicing lawyer by profession, and I got into nutrition to treat myself. Because I had some spinal anesthesia complications when I had my last baby. And how I got to nutrition for people of the African descent is because I was referred to a nutritionist who told me things I couldn't eat. So I wasn't getting the help that I needed. So that is what pushed me to nutrition school, so I could be able to really know what all of this is about, and then fine tune it to people of the African descent, because nutrition is all about adherence. If you are not able to eat the things that are recommended for you, nothing is going to work for you. So we started a company, my partner and I. It's called the Grit Slim. So that's what we go by. And Dr. O, my last name, you can use Kem. So my name is Sandra Kem, so you can use that. And the Grit Slim that we started was mainly to work on people work on nutrition for people of the African descent, to create a nutrition program that supports African meals, because our African food is really heavy. And that's what we've been doing. We've worked with over 500 women as of now all over. And we are really helping people who have blood sugar problems, diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, joint pain, back pain, and all of that, because those are all of the things that are on the list when you look at weight-related issues. So all of that are some of the things that we take care of. So today, I just want to touch on a few things. I wasn't really given like something that I had to talk on. So I just want to touch on a few things. And if anyone has questions for me, they should just go ahead and ask me. The first thing I want to start off by saying is nutrition is a hot topic. And there are so many controversies when it comes to nutrition because there is Google. So people just Google stuff and believe what they can, even the ones that are not backed by research or science and all of that. So nutrition is a really hot topic. And I just want to encourage everyone that if you have nutrition related problems, Google is good for general knowledge, but you should get a nutritionist who can really look into your specific situation and know what to do when it comes to your specific needs. Because Google can't really tell you, you can't explain your schedule to Google so that Google can know your energy expenditure and stuff like that. It's only a nutritionist that can help you do that. So first thing that I want to start off by saying is, one of the things that keep me up at night is the fact that according to Daily Mail, and this is something we've heard a lot, by 2050, half of this world will be obese. Portion sizes are increasing, fast food joints, restaurants, portion sizes are increasing with meals and everything. People are stress eating. There is a lot going on when it comes to nutrition. So I just want to first of all start by saying that that is something that is keeping me up at night, the fact that many people are not taking nutrition seriously. So one of the most important things that I always get that people ask me that I want to just take out this time and talk about is why you should take nutrition seriously. The first thing is your health. Nutrition is at the center of your health. So there are so many weight-related illnesses. I'm sorry about my background. My kids are kind of running around. There are so many illnesses that are related to weight, that if you just focus a little bit on your nutrition, we can prevent the preventables. There is no such thing as old people's sickness. I tell my dad this all the time. There is no such thing as old people's sickness. People say high blood pressure, diabetes, blood sugar is old people's sickness. It's not. It's a manifestation of unhealthy eating habits. So those are some of the things that we're actually looking to change. When it comes to the first thing that we should take into consideration is nutrition. And also when you eat healthy, you feel good. There's a certain level of confidence that comes when you look at yourself in the mirror and you are able to smile back at you. That's called self-image. All of that is something that people sweep under the rug when it comes to nutrition. If you feel good in your skin, there is a lot that you can achieve. So that's one of the reasons why you should also put nutrition ahead. And also, When you eat well, you feel energized. You feel, you know, there is a lot that you can do without coming down with fatigue and tiredness and all of that. So those are some of the things that we should always have in mind when it comes to nutrition. Now, the next thing I want to touch on is carbs. The first thing you hear somebody when they talk about nutrition is, I'm cutting out carbs. I don't know why anybody's doing that, but I just want to say here today, if you're to go home with something today, go home with this. Carbs is a major source of energy. Major. Now, all you have to understand in this is there are two kinds of carbs. There is a complex carbs and there are simple carbs. Now, the first thing people think of when they think of carbs is they think of rice, they think of bread, they think of pasta, and all of that. Those are all refined carbs. And when you think of complex carbs, what I need you to think of is vegetables. Yes, vegetables. Vegetables have complex carbs. Those are good carbs. It's good for you. And the reason why people cut out carbs is because they think of bread, rice, and all of that. Now, those are refined carbs and it digests faster, giving you room to overeat. But complex carbs keeps you fuller for longer periods of time. So when you indulge more in complex carbs, you realize that you've just taken just a little bit of carb, which you need for the energy for your body to actually, you know, function right. Sorry about that. For your body to actually function right. So do not cut out carbs. What you can eat in, all you have to do is eat in moderation. Portion is important. So don't cut out carbs completely because you want to go on a diet. Focus more on having the complex carbs, and on the days you want to have the refined carbs, have it in smaller portions. I recommend most people have it in 6-inch sizes, like 6. You can get a tape and measure like a saucer or something that is like 6 inches. That's what will be good for you when it comes to carbs. So I know most people, they say, oh, when I eat carbs, it makes me fat, or it makes me bloated, and it makes me, so many people have different ways of looking at it. But I just want to tell you, portion is very important because you can't cut out your major source of energy. The body runs on carbs and fats, so you can cut that out completely. So every time, or when you want to think of nutrition, you want to think of going on a diet, just make sure you indulge in the complex carbs. And when you're doing the refined carbs, which is the simple carbs, do them in moderation. And I'm just going by like most of the hot topics that I get from most of the clients that I deal with. The next thing I want to touch on is our waistline. Now, according to the Center for Disease and Prevention Control, for women, if your waistline is above 35 inches, you stand the risk of having high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, heart diseases, and all of that. So those are some of the things that you have to take into consideration, when you're looking at your waistline. So I just want to give like 7 things, golden rules that you can use to actually reduce your waistline for people who are trying to manage like high blood pressure, trying to manage diabetes and all of that. The first one is eat regularly. Yes, you heard that right. I know some people starve themselves in the name of they want to lose weight. Please, can you stop doing that? You have to eat regularly. This keeps blood and sugar levels stable when you eat. Dr. O just mentioned that. Eat within a 3-hour bracket if you have to. So you have to eat regularly. And the second one is do not skip breakfast. When you skip breakfast, your body immediately registers that there is famine, and hangs on to the next thing that you're going to eat, it's not going to digest it, because your body doesn't care how lean or small you look. Your body is focused on surviving. So when it feels like there is scarcity of food, of course it's going to hold on to the next, whatever food comes in next, because it doesn't know when food is going to come in again. So the only way to keep your metabolism, to keep your body functioning at its optimal capacity, is when you eat. So you have to make sure that you eat regularly. Now, when we talk of eating regularly, all this grammar goes back to portion. You have to make sure you eat in the right portion, and you're able to stop yourself when you feel full, so that you don't overeat and risk having too many nutrients in your body and all of that, because at the end of the day, your body is just going to take what it needs, and then the rest is going to be stored. And now let's move to the third one: reduce added sugar. When it comes to reducing your waistline, you have to reduce added sugar. So the first way of reducing added sugar is, every time you go to a store to buy anything, just check on the nutritional value. They usually put it on there. Everything, it has it on there, added sugar. They have the quantity on there. So when you see that, then you can know the quantity that you can have at that time. And then the next one is eat high protein food. This slows the rate that your stomach processes food. So high protein actually keeps you full for longer period of time. And when you stay fuller for longer period, it reduces mindless snackings, and it also reduces the risk of you overeating. So when you do that, it's going to help you really reduce your waistline. And then the fifth one, I know this is going to sound a little bit weird, but do not eat on a run. It gives your body the message that time is scarce and you're under pressure and stressed. And this is when the cortisol hormone is released. So just try to sit down before you actually eat, because the risk most people run is the fact that when they want to eat, they take things left and right. Every calorie counts. Most of us mothers, we taste our way to a full tummy when we're cooking. We taste in a plate, we taste on our hand. By the time we're done, we're full. But we don't count that as food, because we still go to serve more food to eat, like, oh, I didn't eat. No, the testing you've been doing all along, you probably tested yourself to a full tummy. So those are some of the things that we should really take into consideration when it comes to reducing our waistline. And next one is exercise. Now, I know most people have barriers when it comes to exercise. I'm a mom. I have, right now during this meeting, my kids are right here in this room running around. I barely get time to run my business and do other things before I exercise. So within this golden rules that I'm giving you, I'm just going to give you 5 Simi tips that I use to exercise. Okay? When you go to grocery shop, cover 2 more aisles than you usually will. That is going to take your step count up. So it counts for walking. Also, if you sit on your desk for a very long time, try doing this every hour for the next 3 hours, right? Every hour, get up, get your phone or get your book, whatever you're doing, and walk around for 5 minutes only, and you sit back down. Do that for another hour. You walk around for 5 more minutes and you sit down. 3 hours, that is 15 minutes walk you just did right there without going to the gym. That's 15 minutes of exercise, walking around without going to the gym. And the next thing that you can also do is, when you're going somewhere, you can park your car 2 minutes to the place and just walk there, walk back, when you're coming back. That is 4 more minutes of exercise. Added to the 15 minutes, your gym day is done. So you don't really have to carve out time that you want to exercise. You can exercise while still doing the things that you're doing. This is for people who are extremely busy and they're just trying to look for a way to stay active. Hope that makes sense. And the next one is I will send a list to Dr. O. I have a very long list. You can add magnesium food to your diet. It's really good and it calms the adrenal glands and helps balance sugar. Magnesium food. So I have a list. I don't know if I can, no, I can't send that as a picture. I have like a really long list. I can send it to Dr. O to share to all the contacts so that you can, incorporate that in your diet as well. So at this point, if anyone has questions, I'm open to taking them before I talk about anything else.
Thank you so much, Mariah. Thank you so much,
Sandra.
Sandra, for just an excellent presentation. We already have some questions in our chat, and so we're asking anyone who has questions to do one of 3 things. Raise your hand, and I will acknowledge you. If you have a question in the chat box, please do not hesitate to send it, drop a question in the chat box. If it has been missed or has not been asked, just repost it in the chat box and it will be seen. And I will ask you to unmute your mic so that you can ask a question. So while you were presenting, then Sandra, our first question came from Danielle Smith. Danielle, are you on? And can you please proceed with asking your question?
Yes. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much that was a very informational, good information that you gave us. I'm sorry, I was eating. I like what you were saying about the sugar. I wanted to know about how many grams of sugar a day should we have? And then I have another question after that.
Sandra, you're on. Okay, go right ahead.
Yeah. So when it comes to sugar, it's all going to depend. But if you need 0 to 3 grams of sugar, it's okay. Like you can do like one teaspoon of sugar for the whole day and you're good.
Oh my God.
Of added sugar.
So that means I have to get rid of Starbucks?
Yes, unfortunately.
Well,
your future self is going to thank you for that.
Well, yeah, I just got to catch up. That Starbucks is already giving me 50 pounds. So that's a whole nother thing. Okay, so yeah, that's it. And then you said with the exercising, I've been really guilty. I thought I was doing good with trying to lose weight by skipping the breakfast. And you said don't skip that. Sometimes I don't even eat my breakfast until 11 or 12. Okay, so that was very informative. So thank you so much.
Just let me just add something real quick on breakfast because it's another hot topic. Now, when you look at breakfast, right? Breakfast consumption, it has shown, like this is research, and it has shown that breakfast consumption improves behavior, cognition, concentration, and the micronutrients intake and body weight when it comes to breakfast. If your body isn't fed in the morning, less optimal levels of glucose are expected, and in turn, physical and mental performance is affected. So you just have, even if you don't have a full-blown breakfast, you can have like an apple, anything, just kickstart your body in the morning because your body is coming from a fasted state because you were sleeping and you didn't get to eat anything.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sandra. And I see the persons who are on standby with your hand raised. But before we continue our Q&A, I want to pitch back for just a moment to Dr. Opisami to ask if she has any additional comments before we continue with questions. Dr. O?
Yes, thank you. Sandra, that was excellent. You mentioned weight around the waist. You know, there's a name for it in medicine. It's called truncal obesity. And that is really what causes the diabetes, the high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart problems, and all of that. Weight around the waist is a killer. And obesity is now a diagnosis. Just like diabetes, high blood pressure, when you say you have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, you have obesity now, it's a diagnosis. Look at COVID. When they're talking about underlying medical problems, obesity is one of the underlying medical problems that predisposes people to death if they get COVID. So controlling our weight, good nutrition is excellent. But I have a question. Oh, before my question, talking about sugars, please, when you're looking at those nutritional facts, if you see high fructose corn syrup, don't buy it. High fructose corn syrup. Even in your diet, you know, when they say diet sodas, diet this, I say it all this time. Please, if you're going to do the real thing, do it. Leave the diets alone. They have worse things in them that would hurt your health than, you know, eating or drinking the regular stuff. McDonald's drinks is packed full with high fructose corn syrup. Please stay away from that. And my question, you said not to eat on the run, you know, not to eat standing. What about eating in the car?
It's the same thing.
Because you're sitting down, but
it's the same thing. So when I say don't eat on the run, it's the same thing. Like if you have to eat, like actually sit down meals are better because you take your time to actually eat and you chew well, and you all know like this, there's this thing called the thematic effect of feeding. So when you sit down to eat, you actually do that part very well, like the chewing, the swallowing, and all of that. But when you eat on the run, it's not good because the rushing is telling your body is registering the fact that you're under stress. You're under stress, you're under pressure. And we all know when you're stressed, you have pressure, that's when the cortisol hormone is released and you just keep eating and going. That's why I usually advise most people do not eat out of the bag. Because when you're eating out of the bag, you're pressuring yourself. Before you know it, the bag of chips is finished.
Thank you.
Excellent. And Dr. O, if you need or have any moment that you want to add medical and other tips and information, please just get my attention and I will pivot back to you. So we have a lineup of people with questions and I'm going to get started with them. So please just interrupt us if you have anything to add, Dr. O. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. One of our next questions that came into the chat box was from Ola Apalaye. I hope I did not completely butcher your name, Ola. Please unmute your mic and ask your question. Okay, so Ola's question, and if he's on later, we'll come back to him. Ola's question was, what is the normal waistline for men?
40 inches.
Well, that was a great, straightforward and easy one. So the next question that we have is from Madam Laura Okumnubi. Madam Laura, please pronounce your name, unmute your mic, and ask your question.
You did a fabulous job pronouncing my name, Dr. Jennifer.
Thank you.
Hey, Sandra, finally, I am excited to meet someone who knows my food and can, intelligently advise me on what to eat or not eat, because, all these salads don't make sense sometimes. And thank you for clarifying. You don't have to age with sickness and disease. I agree with you. First question, maybe selfish, but are we going to get Dr. O's discount if we consult with you? Number two.
That's a great question.
Good question.
Number two, I don't know how many female have a 35 inches waistline. So definitely I'm not in that category. That means I need
It's
help.
35.
Huh?
35.
I know, I'm not 35. So that's a scary thought right there. That was once upon a time, you know, that I was 35 waistline. So maybe just a few over. So, but we could talk. If you can drop your information, you do consultation, right?
Yes,
and
I
you
do.
can prepare customized meal, and I mean not meal, but menu and stuff like that, like
Yes.
Weight Watchers and those people do. Okay, very well. If you could please drop your information in the chat box and we can connect with you, because I know there are many people that want to ask questions or hear Dr. O's fabulous message.
Yeah.
Good, nice meeting you.
Thank you so much. Our next person is Caprice, Dr. Caprice. Aiti, can you please proceed, unmute your mic to ask your questions?
Okay, I have two actually, and it's for Dr. O as well as Sandra. So the first one is, what does drinking 8 ounces of water before you eat do to the body or aid in the body? And then secondly, about sugars, right? So sugars in itself are food for like the bad bacteria as well as, you know, cancer cells, those kind of things. So I wanted you to talk about just the intake of sugar per serving, and also artificial sugars, which are foreign to the body, and what does that do to the body, and how we should actually just kind of just consume natural sugar, what God has given us, versus the substitute. So it's a twofold question. And I'm oncology, right? I'm an oncologist. So
Dr. O, can you take that one? Dr. O, can you take that one?
Sure. So, sugars. As I've mentioned before, the high fructose corn syrup is a form of sugar that has become a problem, especially in our foods in the United States. It leads quickly to diabetes, truncal obesity. It's poison. There's an upsurge of cancer in the US and across the world. Researchers are researching, we're staying tuned, but I can tell you that my gut feeling is that diet, what we consume, has a lot to do with this upsurge in cancer. And we need to curb it. For instance, look at weight. We know that weight increases estrogen. In breast cancer, high estrogen is one of the reasons why people may get breast cancer. Is there a relation? Research would help us know for sure in the near future. So sugars, when one eats sugars, to be specific, especially the artificial sugars, they convert into simpler sugars in the body. And when one eats a lot of it, it can overwhelm the system, such that insulin that the body generates to break down sugars gets overwhelmed. In obese people, that's how they develop diabetes. And so the sugars just get absorbed by the body instead of being processed and then gotten rid of. Natural sugars is a no-brainer. God put them there naturally for us to eat. And if we eat natural sugars, we will not get the same result as these artificial sugars that the body cannot process and just stays in the body and causes havoc. So you have actually, Dr. Ayati, Caprice Ayati, you've actually answered that question at the end of it when you said, should we comment on this, processed sugars as opposed to, the natural sugars that we're supposed to be eating. So thank you for that question and for honing in on that important and significant aspect of our lives that we need to modify.
Thank you so much, Dr. O. Next, we have Elizabeth, who asked an online question. Elizabeth, can you please unmute your mic to ask your question? Elizabeth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Oh,
go right ahead. Can you please ask your question?
sure. I'm just I need to ask question concerning the holistic diet. I have family members. I've just said two right now that have in stage 4 cancer, and I'm just trying to. And somebody suggested holistic diet, which they said they have this diet in Mexico. So I just want to have a clue, an idea what it is, what kind of diet should they maintain, and how to go about it.
Thank
I'll take that. Diet and cancer. I'm just going to give you a direct example. I have a friend who developed breast cancer in California about 15 years ago. She was given the option of diet and chemo. She opted for diet. Unfortunately, she's a Nigerian woman who did not share details of what is going on. Africans have the tendency not to be open sometimes, especially when it comes to health. Don't want to divulge certain things. She told me that much, and she opted for the diet. I was very concerned because I'm an allopath, and what I know is medication, chemo. So we had no research that had suggested or that has shown us that certain diets would actually treat or cure cancer. She did. She's still alive today. She decided to move to Nigeria. She made the choice to move back to Nigeria because she said she can get authentic organic foods better in that setting than here. That even here in the stores, most of the foods or fruits and stuff, vegetables you get have some chemicals or the other. They are not quite organic. And so she moved and she's doing fantastic. So I think there's credence to certain diets, organic foods in relation to cancer. I cannot tell you more than that because I need to see randomized controlled trials. I need to see, authentic evidence and evidences. Then I will be able to tell you more categorically. But that is a personal, or somebody I know personally that I know that diet has done amazing for in breast cancer. Hope that
Let me just piggyback on what you said right now with diet cancer. I currently have 2 patients that are on my that doing nutrition with me. They have cancer. Sorry, I had 2 patients. One of them is my very good friend. She's also a lawyer. Sorry, I still have a hard time referring to her in the past. Actually, we lost her last week. So she's 30. She has 2 kids. She got breast cancer when she was pregnant, so chemo wasn't working for her. She only came, like most of us Africans, we don't talk about our health conditions often. So she only came to me, to the Great Slim Nutrition Program, when she was already at the advanced stage. It had affected her lungs, her breast had been cut off and all of that. So she was really down energy-wise and everything. And I put her on a holistic nutrition program plan for 2 weeks. And within those 2 weeks, her energy level like really came back up and everything. And she was flown to India for treatment, where she died. The other patient I've been working with for 3 months now, and she's doing really good. She's a Kenyan, she's in Kenya. So when it comes to diet and cancer, the first thing you have to really focus on is the fact that you have to make your system like alkaline intense. It helps reduce the growth of cancer cells. So if you know or see somebody with cancer, the first thing that you have to start looking at, the essentials: B12, that's apricot; B17, that's apricot; B12, vitamin C, enzymes. These are some of the things that you have to include in your diet. Fish oil, omega-3, mushroom, cucumber, and stuff like that. Those are some, and it has to be really organic. Those are some of the things that makes your system alkaline intense to reduce the growth of cancer cells. This is what I've been doing with the other Kenyan lady. She has breast cancer and she's feeling better, and she's not on chemo. She's just fully focused on the diet, and that's all she's doing. She drinks lots of water, and you see the process I told you to exercise. That's what I've made her to do. Like, she does 30 minutes work every day without overwhelming herself. And this B17, B12, vitamin C are some of the things that I've really placed her on. So for the vitamin C, she doesn't get the supplements, she gets them from the fruits. I make sure she gets them from the fruits. And for the omega-3 and the fish oil, she gets supplements from time to time, but I really encourage her to eat seafood and fish. So if, like, the plan that I made, I actually still have the plan that I made for her. I just alternate it week after week to keep her energy level up and to just make sure that, you know, we keeping her system alkaline intense. That's it.
Okay, quick question, please. Can they be on the chemo medicine and radiation and still go on this diet also? Can the three work together?
Yes, and maybe. The reason I'm saying yes and maybe is because the chemo takes a lot out of you. It really drains you out. So most people is after they've stopped the chemotherapy, like most of the patients I've worked with, is after they have stopped the chemotherapy that they come for holistic nutrition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Hi.
you so much.
Jen, can I say something?
Absolutely.
So just like Dr. O and Sandra said, but just not like cancer, but I specialize in cancer, but it's a comprehensive and individualized plan though that you work with your primary care, your oncologist, or whoever you're seeing. So it's not like either or, it's in conjunction with. So we got to be real careful about saying this works, this doesn't work. The body is so complex and so amazing that there's certain things, just how it works together, that you have to have a comprehensive plan from meds, diet, anything, that we're working to make the body whole. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I was going to say that, but to buttress that fact, I like examples, case studies, what we have seen. I think in the near future, we'll bring in a naturopathic doctor who is world-renowned, who has actually personally have experiences in this, in stage 4 cancer. What Sandra described in a friend, and Sandra, so sorry for your loss. So sorry, 30-year-old. I mean, come on. Just started life, anatomy. May her soul rest in perfect peace. But, there has been instances of young women like that, with breast cancer who went through, in medicine, we couldn't do much anymore because they stage 4. And Dr. Michael Ye would come one day to educate us on how naturopathic medicine actually intervenes sometimes and, averts the fatality of cancer and other things. So in the future, we look forward to that.
And one more thing, Toy and Dr. O, but we've made marvelous steps in what we do genetic testing, right? And we actually look at your genes, and those genes in itself will have ONC cells in them. So there are a lot of things we can tell beforehand, right? Before it develops. So I would speak more, I would want people to look at the more preventative things that we do have available too. It's just like getting your blood drawn, knowing your numbers, those kind of things. So that's part of the things that we use as comprehensive for preventative and as well as maintenance.
Exactly. Prevention, which is what we're talking about, routine health maintenance.
And what is this test called? You said genetic testing?
Yes. Remember last week, I said we do better in preventing than after somebody has contracted something. And that's why you need to do all these routines. That was what led to Nutrition Today. So we do best preventing. And that's one of the things we do. That is through genetic testing. To know, for instance, Miss Elizabeth, because you have the family history, it will not hurt for you to do genetic testing to know if you are predisposed, and then see what kind of interventions can be done, especially now nutrition. For you, if you have the genes, nutrition will work wonders so that you don't even have to deal with it, or at least prevent it till March later, if it's ever going to happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Thank you so much, Dr. O and Dr. Ayiti. I want to follow up. You've just both recommended to our participants that they proceed with genetic testing. Can you please speak to how our participants should speak to their own physician or follow up with either of you or with you, Dr. O, to be able to feel comfortable with that conversation?
Well, I'll tell you that most doctors are not doing the genetic testing. Insurance companies are a beast, and sometimes they don't want to pay for this preventive stuff. So in our setting, we do prior authorization, we do the needful, we do what needs to be done to make your insurance agree to testing. And it's usually a blood test, a swab, or something like that. It's simple, but it is necessary. When somebody has family history, which means the parents or one of the parents or sibling has a certain disease entity, it's easier for us to be able to get genetic testing for them. Sometimes when it's impossible to get or difficult to get is because there isn't that history to do that.
Thank you so much. Our next question is from Femi. And Femi, thank you. You have been patiently waiting. You've had your hand raised. Please unmute your mic and proceed with asking your question.
Thank you, ma'am. My question is, do the nutritional needs of women change as they age? And if so, what changes to their diet do they need to maintain a healthy lifestyle and weight?
Before you answer that, that's my son, and he's probably asking that on my behalf. Jeez.
Okay, so I don't know if anyone can see this. Oh my God, my phone is so bright. Can anyone see this picture?
Yes, the before and after.
Yes. So that is my mother-in-law that I put on nutrition.
Put it right in front of your face for a minute so we can see.
Okay.
Now it's perfect.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's my mother-in-law that I put on nutrition. And I will not say her age, but her last child is 35. So first thing I need you to understand is, yes, it's hard to lose weight when you're in your 60s because you lack muscle. And beginning around the age 30, you start losing 3 to 5% of your muscle mass every decade. So it becomes difficult for you to lose weight during around that period. So all you have to do is you have to incorporate more exercise, like stay active and just eat the right stuff and in great portion, and you're good. It's really no rocket science. Okay. Femi, did you hear that?
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes. It's just, it boils down to portion control.
Thank you so much. Our next question is from Abby. Abby, are you here? And can you please unmute your mic?
Yes, I'm here, but could you please ask my questions because I'm eating?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I absolutely can.
Enjoy your meal.
Enjoy.
Just make sure you don't go to bed
I have like
4 hours later.
questions on there.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask them. So Abby's first question is, so with COVID, The waistlines have stretched more and more. How do we get rid of this COVID weight?
Hi,
Yes.
Abby. So I actually just get the seven golden rules that you can use to reduce tummy fats. And if you go on my website, I think I put it on here. We actually have a program to reduce waistline. That's just it. Where we have we give you meal plans, but most of our meal plans that we've worked on right now, I don't know if you're into African food, we mostly focus most of our meal plans on that, like food that you know and food that you love, so that you don't feel frustrated with the process, and then start setting aside days as cheat days.
Beautiful. I'm going to proceed with one more person while I search for Abby's next question. Ephraim and Hannah, I saw that you asked a question. Can you please unmute your mic and ask your question?
Thank you, Dr. Jones.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Sandra and Dr. O. Back to Miss Sandra. Sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
30 years is so young. The Lord will comfort the family.
Thank you.
So I like the golden rule. Very straightforward and simple. Not so complex. I understand that we've been digging our own graves with our calories sometimes. So this golden rule is really something to look at. Surely the breakfast, which most of us, sorry to say, being over spiritual, would want to say, I want to wait on God, I want to hear from God. I think is the one that we rather should take and leave the rest alone. What do you think? Anyway, but my question here is about the aspartame, or it's all about the sugar that we're talking about. We know sugar is the most sweet thing that we don't want to do away with, and it's the most dangerous thing that we need to watch as well. So looking at the sugar, some also do aspartame. Dr. O mentioned about the high fructose corn, which I agree with, but my question is, what are the differences? Can you throw more light on that and see which one would be more appropriate that we should rather pay attention to? Thank you.
I can take that question. If you even go to Dr. Google, it will show you that things like aspartame and stuff like that that are put in diet drinks, in diet stuff, increases your chances of getting diabetes. They raise your blood sugar. They're not good for you. So we advise against them. That's just as simple as it is. Natural sweets are better for the body.
Thank you so much, Dr. O. Cindy, we now have your question. I've asked you to unmute your mic and please ask your question.
Okay. Hi, Dr. O. Hi, Dr. Sandra and everyone.
Hi.
My question is, there are these vitamins that have been recommended for us to use, like vitamin D, vitamin C, and these energy, bone support, women's vitamins, one a day and all that. There are different ones out there, especially these gummy ones. Almost each one that I look at has corn fructose syrup in it. Sometimes they remove that high from it, and they just write corn syrup, but we know it's the same thing. So since they have been, recommended for us to use vitamin D, I went to Costco myself, just stood there and read on almost like 10 different ones. And each one I read had that high fructose in it. So what do we do? Because these are other, vitamins that we need. So do we just get them from the natural food, or since we need more in times like this, how can we manage that? Thank you.
Thank you. Our pulmonologists recommend those vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D in these times of COVID to boost immune system, zinc, but not one a day women's vitamin, no. there's actually at least one research that has come out that advises that we should not recommend 1 a day women's or men's vitamins because it increases appetite. You already have appetite, you're not sick. You know, we don't want you to start eating so much and you start putting on weight. So 1 a day vitamins, no. However, with those vitamins, you may want to go to Whole Foods stores or to, you know, in our area, we have Roots in Maryland, you know, those places where they sell organic, authentic stuff, and see if you can get the vitamins that don't have sugars and the fructose or high fructose. You're right. They're all one and the same. The high fructose and fructose.
Thank you so much, Dr. O and
Thank you.
Sandra. There was another question that Abby asked, which of our foods should someone with ulcerative colitis eat?
Sandra, that would be your question.
Unfortunately, I haven't really addressed my mind to that, so I'll look that up. Who asked the question?
It was from Abby, and she's Dr. O's sister joining us from London.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up and then I'll get back to you, Abby. Unfortunately, I haven't addressed my mind to that yet.
Thank
Hope that's okay.
Thank you so much. And we have Dr. Caprice. Please unmute your mic and proceed with asking your question.
Okay, there were like 3 for me. So going back through, I think Ova was speaking about women and their changes of their nutrition and their diet as they age. And I wanted Dr. O to speak about menopausal women or postmenopausal women during the time of you know, just their hormones and things that relate to their diet. Secondly, speaking about supplements in itself, and Dr. O can also speak about this, and maybe Sandra as well, just really getting a good workup, your metabolic, and knowing what you're, you know, what you need before you start taking the supplements. And a lot of the supplements have a long shelf life, you know, just for them to last on the shelf, and they load them with sugar. So there's just a lot of things, although say they're good for you, they may not be good for you actually. So working with your primary care is our nutritionist as much as possible. They can help you with these things, and in itself, a lot of things, 60% of the stuff, the food that we do have on the shelves and we do have available is pretty much mass production, just the last. So we need to speak a lot more about those, but I think working with your primary care, your nutritionist will help you with a lot of these things. And they even have on a lot of things where they say added sugar, anything added, you do not touch it, because they will have on their added sugars on there. So I think with Sandra, a good nutritionist and a good physician will help you really do well. And I'm learning that as well. And I've been in this field for a long time. There's trickery everywhere. So that's just my take on it.
Thank you so much. And Danielle, you had another question and have your hand raised. Can you please proceed with asking your question?
Yes, I feel a little bad now because I've been taking those 1 a days and thought it was doing good. Also, the elderberry and the Nature Made vitamins. So I guess I need to stop taking those as well. So I wanted to know what we can take instead. And then also, is it good to take probiotics? They said the probiotics is supposed to be good. So those are just my questions.
Yeah, so generally, I think I'll be a little bit biased when it comes to stuff like that, because as a nutritionist, I would just say most of your nutrients can actually come from your food. So you just have to structure your food. Like I usually give a list, like when people come for nutrition counseling and all of that, I give a list on the things that the vitamins they're looking for and what kind of food they can get those vitamins from. So I usually give like a long list. It's also, I put it to all the time on my social media, because half of the time, what your body is craving for is either a lack of a particular vitamin or stuff like that. And there is a food that actually provides that. So I usually do that just so you can know you can get all your vitamins and nutrients from food. That way you get it from the organic source. And if you don't know how to like read the nutritional value, the labels and all of that, you're never going to take the risk, because you're just going to get it from your food. And if you're eating in the portion, like your portion is good, you're fine. Well, so let's just focus more on getting what we need from food.
Yeah, I'll be calling you then, because it's specific. I'm a little older. I am 60, so in a couple of weeks, so I'll call you.
Okay.
Excuse me?
Thank you.
You're calling 60 old or older? I refuse. When life has not even begun at 60.
Oh, no, I'm just getting started.
Thank you. So take out that older.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra and Dr. O and Danielle, for that question. Femi, I saw that you asked another question in the chat box. If you are able to unmute your mic and ask your next question, please do so, or I will. So Femi was,
I think you should.
Yes, so is fasting beneficial, and does breaking the fast matter if it's done in the morning?
Is what? Can you repeat?
Fasting beneficial, and does breaking the fast matter if it is done in the morning?
So it's talking about intermittent fasting. I'm going to have Sandra address that, because I talked about that last week.
Okay, so intermittent fasting. I'm a little bit on the fence on this one. I don't encourage it with most of my clients. And the reason that I don't encourage it is because just eating alone, rest, metabolic rate, thematic effect of feeding and all of that actually uses up energy in your body. And weight loss is all about energy in versus energy out. That is what weight loss breaks down to. If there is no energy that goes in, and then if there's no energy going in, of course, you're not just laying in bed all day. So you're being active. Energy is going out. So you're depleting yourself in the process. You're going to lose weight, yes. But by the time you go back to eating, the weight is at the door. It's going to return. If not, if it doesn't come back the same way, it's going to come back twice as much. So I really do not encourage intermittent fasting, because you're slowing down your metabolism by not eating. You're hijacking the rest metabolic rate, the chewing, the swallowing, the breaking down of the food and all of that. You've arrested the whole of that process. Most people, I usually take this this example, this analogy most times. Every time when you wake, most people, I don't do it, my husband does it for me. Most people, when they wake up in the morning, they start their car and let it run before they actually get in and drive, so it's smooth, right? So when you don't eat in the morning, you don't do nothing. That's your car. You didn't do anything. And you expect your body to actually function right, like the rest of the day. You didn't jumpstart it. You didn't give it any fuel. You didn't give it nothing. So that's why I usually tell most people, all you have to do is eat. I'm really sorry about this guy. All you
Don't be sorry. Apologize. We're loving seeing your baby. Please just continue.
So all you have to do is eat in the right quantity and not do intermediate fasting, and you're good. There are occasions, however, that I do intermediate fasting for people. And that is when they have hit a weight loss plateau. And if you hit a weight loss plateau, it means the energy that is going in is more than the energy that is going out. So I have to restrict the way you eat and increase your energy expenditure, because it's all about the law of thermodynamics. Energy in, energy out, weight loss. If there is no energy in, I'm sorry. If you, oh, don't do that. So if there is no,
You know what? Let Dr. O continue. You should come back. You should take care of that kid.
I was
You should
just
come
gonna
back.
say,
Let Dr. O
Auntie,
finish.
Sandra,
thank
you
you,
can
ma.
take a break because we are at the 8:20 hour and time. And so we're gonna have room for a few more questions, but you can feel free to turn your camera off, Sandra, take a break and come back. We'll still be here because after the end of the show, we stay on for another half hour for after hours and conversation. So please know that we are all so overjoyed to have your expertise. I already know you're going to be coming back again. And in addition to that, so many people in the chat box wanted you to know and that they are extending their condolences for your loss of your patient and friend, such a young person. So please take a break and we'll see you in a moment.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Very welcome. Very, very welcome. Dr. O, we still have some additional questions in the chat box that I know that you can handle. And I'm going to ask Melanie to unmute her line and ask her question. She's been patiently waiting, and thank you, Melanie.
Oh, no problem. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So, Dr. O, I am not one who does a lot of sugar. I stay away from the high fructose. However, in the past, I was doing the green drinks, and I would have a lot of kale and spinach, but then I would add the fruit. And what I was hearing is that too much fruit in the green smoothie can actually not be beneficial. And I just wanted to kind of get either a yes or a no, that is correct, because I kind of stopped drinking it. I just stick to water. But my husband wants wants another green smoothie, and of course he wants his fruit in there so it can be a little sweeter for him to drink. So I just want to kind of get a consensus on is that good to have fruit, that type of fruit in there? It doesn't matter what kind of fruit, but just consistently every day.
So can I ask you a question before answering that?
Absolutely.
So when you said the greens, are you talking about the green drinks you get from the store because they have?
Oh no. I make my own. I make my own smoothie every day. So I'll put the kale, everything's fresh that goes in, and then the frozen fruit that I pull from Costco. And typically it's just an orange. It's a pineapple that's from the frozen pineapple, lemon, a lime pieces in there. So I kind of, and ginger as well.
Okay, thank you. So you said it, frozen pineapple. So what preservatives were used to preserve that? Please look in the package to see what that involves. Because in order to preserve something, they usually add sugars.
Well, I looked in there and it didn't have it. It just says it's just frozen. It just says pineapple. It doesn't say added sugar in there because I do check the labels.
Okay, if it says pineapple and water, then that's fine. So it is not true. To answer your question directly, it is not true that you can have too much of fruits and vegetables. No. And when you make your smoothies, you're doing it the right way. Kiwi is a power plant, so is pineapple, power plants, the berries, blueberries, blackberries, they're fantastic. Apple, people say an apple a day keeps the cardiologist away. Most times when you put these fruits in there, you would notice that just half a pineapple will be enough to put in there, your mangoes, stuff like that. And then you add kale. It's fantastic. Doing the fruit smoothies alone is not enough. It's great to add your vegetables into it so that you have a balance. Most times you will get all you need in fruits and vegetables for the day in that one smoothie. If you can add things like turmeric, flaxseed, that is also fantastic. Just a dash of turmeric It's an amazing anti-inflammatory agent, and flaxseed, that'll be great. I agree with your husband. Don't give me just vegetables or just fruits. Add them together.
Well, my base is actually the vegetable, and I add the fruit. I just scale back on the fruit and I make it more vegetable than that. I just don't think he likes it.
Well, I don't blame him. Please give him the fruits. And I just went over some of the power fruits that you can use. They are fantastic and they're healthy.
Yes. Thank you so much, Melanie and Dr. O. And we're going to do 3 things in this moment. For all of our guests, I want to celebrate something. We are in the first month of Medical Mondays. This is our 3rd show, and we are so excited that Dr. O and Dr. Aiti and I said if we could just have 50 people on the show, we would consider it success. And we are so excited tonight that we have exceeded 50 guests on the show. So I am going to ask you to just unmute your mic and give a round of applause for us hitting our first milestone. It's really, really, really wonderful. Thank you so much. And today we have had a beautiful thing happen. In addition to meeting this milestone, we have our first guest who invited over 10 people to last Monday's call. And our guests who invited those are going to be the recipients of our first Medical Mondays VIP celebration and acknowledgement. Dr. O, can you please proceed with calling out the name of that guest, and then we'll introduce the amazing, wonderful prize that they've won for exceeding 10 invited guests and being our first Medical Mondays VIP awardee.
Thank you. So last week, Pastor Dr. Hannah Ajay invited 10 guests to this forum, and she's our first winner of a prize, of a gift, and also now is our first VIP. So Hannah, please show your screen. Pastor Dr. Hannah,
please unmute your mics to acknowledge and congratulate our first Medical Mondays VIP winners.
Show your screen. She is fantastic. Today, we had all sorts of things happen. I am amazed that we're here, and oh my gosh, we have, am I saying this right? 69 people?
Yes.
This is amazing for what has happened today. Hannah is instrumental in helping us find out that there's been a problem with the Zoom link and had to send invitations out several times. I just want to say thank you. And congratulations for being our first VIP.
And Hannah and
Thank you.
Oh, also, I don't know if Dr. Jones is going to mention this, that Ephraim, Hannah's husband, can you show your face, please? And Hannah donated to us a barrage of sphygmomanometers, blood pressure measuring machines, as gifts to people for the future or for now. If somebody wins it tonight, we'll give it to them, depending on what Dr. Jones decides to do. But we have blood pressure measuring machines. I'm going to bring one to show you in a few. Over to you, Dr. Jones.
Absolutely. We are so grateful to Ephraim and Hannah for being supporters from the very first show last week, when we talked about all of the things that we would be adding prizes. We would be adding nutritionists and fitness persons and chefs to help us prepare food. We'd be doing things to make this show engaging and fun, and then to hear from our audience participants. So we want to thank Ephraim and Hannah for just being a blessing to provide us boxes, not one, many blood pressure machines, so that when people reach the goal of being a Medical Mondays VIP or champion, they would be able to receive a gift. To meet the VIP goal, you need to have invited 10 to 25 individuals to join us in today's Zoom link. So I'm so excited about that. We ask, and I'm going to put in the chat the email address to please email us at Medical Mondays, DRO for Dr. O, Medical Mondays, Dr. O, pardon me, I left the S out, at gmail.com. And what we want you to do is to just send over to us your list of people that you invited so we can check them off of our distribution list and we can make sure that you all have the information. Now, Ephraim and Hannah, for the work that you've done to invite 10 participants in Medical Mondays, we have a special young entrepreneur whose name is Mariah Benjamin, who is going to be here to share with us her special guest and prize. Dr. O, I think you made Mariah a co-host with us?
Yes, I did.
And Mariah, we are ready to hear from you. Take control of the screen and share with Ephraim and Hannah what their prize is for being Medical Mondays VIPs.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mariah. I just want to tell you a little bit about my business first. My business came about on Valentine's Day, where I wanted to really make a special day for my mother. We have her here. I wanted to really make the day special by giving her chocolate-covered strawberries and different edible fruits like pineapples, cantaloupes, different fruits that I can give to her. On this Medical Monday, I did actually do some research on chocolate-covered strawberries that it contains antioxidants, which are linked to improve risk of infection and cancer and thought to improve the immune function. So I will, off of that, I will share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
So here's some different images that I have of my business where they have chocolate Easter chocolate covered strawberries. We have a rose bouquet. We have different arrangements, different flavors. We have a cereal box here that you can see. We also do variety of nuts, coconut, graham cracker, strawberry, vanilla, whatever flavor that you would like. Easter is coming, so we do have a variety of Easter boxes as well. Continuing on, we have different colors, whatever you would like, whatever kind of strawberries you would like, we do have that, and whatever flavor you would, we do. So I'm so happy that you won the chocolate covered strawberries. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mariah. We are so excited about you becoming an entrepreneur. And we are excited. Finally, we get to see the face of Hannah and Mariah. Please unmute your mic and speak so that everyone can see you, as we are so excited about all that you have done for us. Please share with us, Ephraim and Hannah. I know you're going to work offline with Mariah to choose what you're going to have as your gift, but we were excited about this opportunity.
So much.
Thank you.
I'll give it all thanks to God. And we are glad we can do it together. Bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are so excited about the work. And Mariah, thank you for making all of us so hungry. So much for beautiful fruit presentations.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being a sponsor and guest of Medical Mondays. We are just excited that we are just seeing the vision manifest itself. So thank you so very much for all of your support and for everything. Dr. O, do you have any other comments before we let Mariah go?
Yes. Well, Mariah, thank you so much.
Sorry.
I have, sir. Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
I'm just coming in. Sorry.
Welcome.
Go ahead.
Welcome,
Thank
sir.
you, Pastor.
Pastor, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to defer for a minute to Sandra to say something about dark chocolates, because dark chocolates do have a great role to play in weight loss.
Yes, it does.
Sandra, can you unmute?
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Yes. Okay.
So you were going to ask about
dark chocolate.
Oh, yeah, dark chocolate. It's actually very good. Dark chocolate is very rich in magnesium. For those who are asking for magnesium food, it is very rich in magnesium. It has like 64 mg and 1 ounce. That's like 28 grams in serving of dark chocolate. Is very good. And dark chocolate is also very high in iron, copper, and contains probiotic fiber that feeds your healthy gut bacteria. So it's something that you can eat. And again, it goes back to the same thing, portion. Don't overeat it. Even the healthy food, do not overeat it.
Thank you.
So it's something that you can have. So that the right quantity to have is like 28 grams per serving. That would be really good for you.
And so we have a number of comments in our chat box about, before we let you go, Mariah, and before you leave this topic, Sandra and Dr. O, about the chocolate covered strawberries. Everyone is asking, saying they're yummy. They're so happy to hear about them. We can go to Mo Berries on Instagram. It's been placed in the chat box to find out more about Mariah and her business. Some people have asked, are the strawberries sugar-free?
Not all of them are, but we do have, since like you said, dark chocolate is very healthy for you. So that's what we kind of do on the healthier side. And we do try to do, if you don't want too much sugar on it, we do try to do half of it with just a little bit of chocolate as well.
Thank you so much. And I know that Dr. O and Sandra have been sharing with us about the fructose and all of the sugars that are in fruit and the health and unhealth or lack of health in some of those foods. Sandra and Dr. O, do you want to add any additional responses before we close out our sponsorship and award segment?
No, I just want to thank Caprice for bringing Mariah. And thank you so much, sis. Dr. Agati, God bless you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for just an amazing show and an amazing conversation. The topic for today's show is routine health maintenance, the power of prevention. And we've been talking today about Medical Mondays prevention message, which is nutrition. It's been an absolutely wonderful conversation. We still have a number of individuals who had questions to ask. Just thank you all for being on and for staying with us. Before we proceed with our next round of question and answer, we are going to give Dr. O an opportunity for medical moments. But before we do, and just in case any of you have to leave us, we want to give a round of applause, and I'd like for you all to answer this rapid fire question in the chat box. List in the chat box at least one great thing that you have learned from our guests today, Sandra, the nutritionist and certified weight loss coach, and professional. Please fill up the chat box with one thing you learned. For me, Sandra, it was energy in versus energy out. So I want to see you all blow up the chat box as we go from a speaker view to gallery view and give Sandra a round of applause for managing to answer our questions and educate us with her beautiful babies playing in the background that we all love. Thank you so much, Sandra.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
We are overjoyed. Dr. O, medical moment.
Well, I want to focus today on Sandra, a nutritionist who has a patient who decided that after seeing good results in short 4 weeks, decided he was going to take a break. Most clinicians, most enterprises, businesses that I know would just let it go. One day, Sandra fished me out, found his primary care doctor. Remember, I did not refer him to her. Came into the office to save one person. I praise God for who she is. I praise God for going after one person, like the scripture taught us when I think it was David who lost one sheep of 100, left the 99 and went for that one. That reminds me of that. And I just want to say thank you. Much appreciated. Jesus. And on that same note, this is a very important topic.
Your pastor is correcting you, Jesus, not David.
Jesus. Oh, I missed that, sir. It was Jesus.
It was a parable.
It was a parable. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Abby, Pastor Abby. Thank you, both of you. This is an important topic. Obesity is now a disease. It's ravaging our societies. And we talked about it last week. God brought her to us. I want to extend that to the fact that us getting here today is a miracle. Do you know that the Zoom link that you used for the last 2 weeks disappeared from my laptop? Just boom, into thin air, we couldn't find it. I retrieved it on Friday. We used it last night, testing. You will see that it took a few minutes for us to start today because Jennifer was not even, I wasn't dressed, Jennifer wasn't dressed. I had patience to see. She's worked on this all day. It was like one thing after the other. But in it all, God kept showing up. And here we are, having an amazing program. I have to say this to glorify God, because He put this together. If you all notice, you got the Zoom link maybe less than an hour before this program. And that was why we had to, regenerate a new Zoom and all of that. But please, if you will please register on Eventbrite. If you just go to eventbrite.com and Google Medical Mondays with Dr. O, you will see, you'll see the program. Register there, please, so that we can, keep up with you, and Eventbrite can remind you weekly of this program. We are now set, and we praise God for all that happened today and for you being here. I hope you have been blessed. I have. And Jennifer, God bless you. May the Lord continue to give you strength. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. O. You are amazing. Dr. Aiti is amazing. And all that we do for God's glory. And as many are feeling our energy and seeing the intent and intention of what we're bringing as professionals, we're always going to bring the facts, the knowledge, and the truth. But as children of love, light, and Christ, we are always going to stay mission focused to ensure sure that we serve the community. Dr. O, you are amazing. Sandra, you have been amazing. If you have any closing remarks, Sandra, now is the appropriate time to share them. And then for our guests, we are going to continue to talk, dialogue, and answer your questions.
I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for listening to me and for this opportunity. I just want to say thank you very much, Dr. O. I was coming to your office. I didn't know if I was gonna get an audience with you or not. But when I was leaving my house, I told myself, before I got the client to commit to actually studying the nutrition, it was really difficult. And when he started seeing results, I saw that he was really happy. And because I put my heart into what I do, the nutrition that I do, because I know how important it is to prevent the preventables. Everything that we can prevent, I just try as much as possible to work on people so that we can prevent them. So coming to your office, when I was asking you, I was literally saying to myself, please let her say yes. She has a minute to talk with me. Please let her say yes. And I came in and you said, yeah, sure, have a seat. I'm like, okay, that was easy. Most people wouldn't just give you an audience because you walked in to talk about a patient. So that showed me how big your heart is. And I really, really appreciate you. And I thank you, Dr. Jones, for welcoming me on here. And everyone, thank you for bearing with my kids. They're always doing this. So this is how I get to work, keep an eye on them and still do what I do. Thank you all so much for bearing with me. And if you have any questions whatsoever, I put my number on there, but I'm just gonna say it again. It's 202-740-4264. And I am always on social media because that's how I draw people in. So you can check out our pages on Facebook is Grit Slim. That's GRITSLIM, Grit Slim. And we are also on Instagram. I post things on Instagram every day, sometimes twice a day, just to tell people what they can eat, just to debunk some of the things that come with unhealthy eating, like help them unlearn unhealthy eating habits. So I always start, most times I'm like, okay, association of I'm not a breakfast person, gather here for roll call. Then I tell them why they have to take breakfast and stuff like that, just to make it easy for people to want to take better care of themselves. So if you have any questions, you can ask me, you can find me on Instagram. And I just want to say I'm super blessed to be here today talking to you all. And I hope I've learned a lot too. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra. It has been a gift and a blessing to have you. And we are the ones who are blessed and fortunate that you made time to be here with us, with your children in the evening when it is at bedtime, I'm sure, for them. And so we just appreciate you so much and thank you. I'm going to open the floor for 3 minutes to allow anyone else who wants to give you any other comments to please do so. And Sandra, if you can, I put your name, telephone number, and website address in the link. If you could add your Instagram link, I'd appreciate it. The floor is open for 3 minutes if anyone has comments for Sandra.
Thank you, Jones and Dr. Sandra, Dr. O, and Dr. Caprice Ayite. Gamashibi Ayite, I hope you understand the Gan too. Anyway, quick question, and just trying to understand, sometimes we get too fuzzy about sugar. And I know there are natural sugars, and then there are, of course, artificial, processed, and what have you. Where would the fruits come in? I know too much of every consumption or everything is bad, but would fruits pose a risk of sugar?
been too much consumed to a point of a concern?
I'm sorry, it is saying, is he there?
Yeah, I'm saying.
It is saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you saying?
Okay, so I actually lived in Ghana for like 4 years. That's
that's
why
good.
I know some of the stuff that I know. So when it comes to fruit, right? Everything goes back to portion. That's where we are back. And there's some fruits that have more sugar than others. I was actually going through it right now so that I can put the list on here. There's some fruits that have more sugar than other fruits. So all you have to do is control your portion. Like I see most people in the evenings, especially at parties, you see them take a bowl of fruit salad and say, oh, I'm on a diet, that's why I'm not eating. That's a full meal you're eating. The fruit salad you're having, that's food you're actually eating. So all you have to do is, a piece of fruit is good per serving. So if you're going to have an apple, just have an apple. Don't do the apple, the berries, the papaya. Don't do everything at once. That's all. And you'll be good. Is that okay?
Yes, it's okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And I have a follow-up question that was put into our email with regard to, you addressed intermittent fasting earlier, and another person asked a question about eating small meals, whether it's better to eat small meals throughout the day or to eat a consistent breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then they had a follow-up question about this notion to stop all of your eating by 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the evening.
Okay, let me take that real quick. So the first question was, is it okay to eat in smaller portions? Yes. First thing I'll say is eat when you're hungry. Don't eat because you just eat when you're hungry. And I always use this, and smaller portions is good. I use this blender analogy. If you pick up your blender and you put tomatoes filled to the brim, how long does it take to blend? Normally it's gonna take a longer period to blend because it's filled to the brim, and tomatoes is healthy, right? So that's the same thing. And if you use that same blender and you put just a small quantity of tomatoes and you heat blend, it's gonna blend really fast. That's the same thing that is happening to your body. When you overpack your body with so much food, it takes a longer time to digest. Your body is that blender. So as it's taking the longer time to digest, by the time it's finishing to digest, if that was breakfast, lunch is coming in. And like everything else, everybody likes something new. Your body's gonna push aside the one that it's not finished digesting, and it takes on the lunch. That is you sending food that is not digested to your reserve. And that's how your waistline starts increasing. And because it's still doing that, your blender is still trying to work. Guess what? Dinner is coming in. It's pushing that aside, like everything, every other thing else. We like new stuff. It's sending that one aside to receive the new stuff. And before you know it, your waistline is increasing because you have so much undigested food. Your body just digests the little that it needs and uses it up. And then the rest is stored in your reserve. And you feel like, oh, I eat just once a day. I don't know why I'm getting fat and stuff like that. Oh, once a day you've eaten meal for maybe 5 sitting because you overpacked your blender, your body.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else with comments or questions at this time? I'm going to go back through the thread, text and thread line, but please proceed with asking your questions or raising your hand. Ephraim and Hannah, you go ahead, and then Olivia, you'll be next.
All right, so.
Excuse me, I think I missed the second half of the question. Eating after 6?
Yes, about the time, 6 o'clock.
About the time.
8 o'clock, or is that something good to practice? Is it unhealthy?
Okay, so truth bomb. There is no time to eat. There is no such thing as don't eat after 6. Again, another example. If I, Sandra, eat at 12 or 1 p.m. lunch, and I go straight to bed for a nap, what's the difference with someone who ate at 6 and went to bed? There is no difference. So we are going back to the energy in versus energy out. It takes at least 4 hours for food to digest and leave your system to your gut. So if you know you're gonna eat after 6, prepare your next 4 hours to stay up for your food to digest. And for you to do that, it doesn't mean you can just lay on the couch and watch TV. There is no energy expenditure. That food is going nowhere. It's sitting right where you kept it. So our advice, if you eat after 6, rearrange your closet, do meal prep for the next day, do anything, just stay active for the next 4 hours and you'll be good to go.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And Ephraim and Hannah, I saw that you had a question. Dr. Caprice is logging back in, and she also had a question. Ephraim and Hannah?
Hi, thank you so much. I know, Dr. Sandra, you were giving us some list of fruits and all that, but I also want to give one analogy, and then if maybe at a future date you come back with a list of other things that we can consider, that'd be great. The analogy is about, it might be funny, but it's true. The question is, how many goats have gone to pharmacy asking for medication? Look at what they eat. A car can knock a goat down, he will wake up, he will shake his body, and it's good to go.
Thank you so much, Ephraim, for your wonderful humor. Thank you so much. Dr. Caprice, are you back with us?
Yes.
Go right ahead, Dr. Caprice. You were you had your hand raised just before you dropped off. So thank you for making it back in.
You probably need to skip me. It might be old age. I can't remember my question now.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. All right, thank you. Olivia, you're next.
Okay, so my question goes to Sandra. Since you are a nutritionist, I need help badly to organize food for a lupus person.
So that won't take us a while.
Okay.
You can just give me, take my number and we could talk later on how to arrange that. Okay. The first thing I'll start by doing is doing the person's body type diagnosis, because meals like this, we have to make sure that it fits the person's specific body type. Okay. And we have to know the person's body composition calculation as well. So we know the amount of calories that they need. Okay. And based on that, we are going to structure their meal plans. So most of our meal plans at Great Slum is actually done based on your schedule. So we know your energy expenditure and see if you sit all day or if you walk all day or whatever you're doing. And then the next thing is your body type and then your body composition calculation, your BMI. We take all of that into consideration before we actually give you a meal plan.
Okay. Thank you. And when is the best time to reach you?
I'm always available except evenings like this because of these people.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I want to jump in. Auntie Lara, can you please ask your question because she has to leave?
Okay.
Yeah. So
thank you, ma'am. Great session, fabulous questions, and host and co-host. I'm having a great time. But every great thing also comes to an end. Got to bail out to another event. But Sandra, wonderful. You said, I mean, the analogy you used about the stomach wants new stuff. If you have one food and it has not really processed or digested, and then come dinner and you put another time. So what is a reasonable time to space out your eating so that, one digests before you bring in another? Because for someone like me, if you ask me to eat only when I'm hungry, it's very dangerous. And that's unfortunately been my life. I don't get hungry until evening. I can stay all day without food. So I'm packing it all up at 6 o'clock. The lunch, the dinner, and all the snacks in between, right there, and then one shot, which I've learned that it is bad. So what is a reasonable time to space out so that one goes down before another,
It's 3 to 4 hours.
Huh?
3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
That's if you're eating, if you're eating in portions, 3 to 4 hours is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you.
Thank you. Hasta la vista.
Yes, ma. Pray for us in church.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Dr. Aite Caprice?
I remember my question. I wanted to direct this to Sandra and maybe Dr. O can respond, but there are some questions about the fruit and sugary. So I wanted them to speak on about just the fruits with the fiber and not taking out the fiber. And then also if they know anything about genetic modified foods.
Most fruits are rich in fiber. So fruits are good, but some have been labeled power fruits like kiwi, pineapples, the berries, blueberries, blackberries and all. So banana though is very high carb fruit. So even for diabetes, for people who have diabetes, we ask that if they love bananas and they love to eat maybe half at a setting or per day, because it's a high carb fruit. So that's all I would say about fruits. But genetically modified fruits, anything genetically modified, I don't think we should be touching. Those are the things we're talking about. There are all this upsurge of cancer. When you genetically modify something and then you eat it, what is it doing to your body? GMOs, I believe that we need to stay away from them. But I'll defer to Sandra, the nutritionist, to see if she's ready to comment on that.
So you've answered the question, and all I have to say is most fruits like they have fiber and they're really good. And banana, however, that's the one that really stands out. I usually tell most people, if you're gonna have banana, you can just have one banana, one in one sitting. So when you look at fruits and even on the side of fruit juice, I just want everyone to understand that 12 ounces of unsweetened fruit juice, unsweetened, is actually packed with 36 grams of sugar, which is like 12, that's like 12 ounce of soda when you look at it. So if you're gonna have fruit juice, just 3/4 of a glass is what is recommended for fruit juice. I mean, like the freshly squeezed juice. So you don't have to drink a full glass. Oh, this is healthy. This is, fruit juice. And then you go all in. But all we have to know is, to take note of is most fruits have fiber and it's really good for us. It all boils down to portion control. Even the healthy things, eat them in moderation. That's it.
She's more generous than me. Bananas, I recommend half. She's very generous. Thank you.
No, for the one banana that I'm recommending, that's a meal.
Oh,
it's
okay.
not a snack, it's a meal.
Oh.
Okay. That's full breakfast.
Thank you. Got you.
How about
That's
nuts?
full breakfast.
How about nuts? Banana with nuts.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. And it tastes fantastic. Yeah, nuts are great. So what do you
Yeah,
think?
remember too, with the nuts, a palmful is a recommendation. Palmful of nuts is the recommendation. So always take a palmful before you put in a bowl. Don't pour the nuts in a bowl so that you can be on the safe side when it comes to portion control.
Sounds absolutely wonderful. Are there any other questions or comments before we proceed with closing out tonight's Medical Mondays? Well, Sandra and Dr. O, that tells me that you have done an absolutely outstanding job. Melanie has her hand raised. Melanie, please proceed with unmuting your mic to ask your question.
It's real quick. It was just what Sandra and Dr. O were talking about, because I have oatmeal, and I'm just wondering, maybe, because I think I eat well, it's just, I think it's portion issue. So is it okay, I'll mix the oatmeal, a half of a banana, some nuts, and some berries in my oatmeal, and that's my breakfast. Is that too much?
That is called power breakfast. It's great.
Well, there you go, Melanie. Thank you for the question. Olivia, I'm sorry, Karen McDaniel,
And
you're next, and followed by Olivia.
One more thing, please. Melanie, if you eat breakfast like that, be careful not to go for the rest of the day and not eat. You have to remember after like 3-4 hours to snack of something, because that is power breakfast and you may not be hungry for the rest of the day. You want to eat, small frequent meals all through.
I eat 3 meals a day. I have to, otherwise I'll get a headache. So
fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. O, for the checkup. Karen McDaniel.
I had a question about how Sandra or Dr. O feels about coffees and teas, and is ones that have what is it called? The ingredient that pumps you up. Is that
caffeine? Were you talking
caffeine? Yes. Do you prefer caffeine or non-caffeine? And what does caffeine do to the body of a diabetic versus, is it better to have decaffeinated or caffeinated teas and coffees, or how do you feel about that?
Oh, hi, Karen.
Hi.
So, one of the things that I would just like that stands out is the caffeine part. If you can cut that out, it will really help us, especially when it comes to our waistline. Caffeine is not good for us. So if we can cut that out, that would be good. However, black coffee, on the other hand, is not a bad idea. But just 2 cups a day for black coffee. That's the recommended amount of coffee that you can get.
Okay. So if I may chip in, there's a research that came out that said that if you drink, coffee, it actually decreases the incidence of certain cancers. But 1 cup was what was looked at in that research. So again, like, maybe 1 to 2, Sandra suggested maximum of 2 cups. So maybe 1 to 2 cups, everything in moderation, but coffee has been, have been linked to reduction in certain cancers. And that being said, I actually suggest that to my patients who smoke, because one of the things that cause smokers to smoke is because smoking actually increases concentration. And that's why people, when they are angry, nervous, or in difficult situations, they'll go take a smoke. They'll go smoke. They think the cigarette is what is helping them. It doesn't help in the thought process or anything. It helps concentration. So if you can focus, you can better handle situations. Coffee does the same thing. Coffee increases focus. Coffee drinkers will let you know that if they don't drink, they can't focus. They seem like, everything is just all over the place. So I suggest that to my smokers, to replace cigarettes with coffee, 1 cup a day in the morning. And it works for some of them to quit.
So no adding of honey or sugar or anything like that, huh?
We discourage sugar, as we've
Mhm.
covered again all night long.
Mhm.
Honey is good. And there's a plant, there are plant-based sugars. It's
Yeah.
a lot that can be talked about. Sandra did not mention that tonight. It's a lot. She told us a mouthful already. But there are plant-based sugars that are just plant. Stevia, it doesn't have anything. You can look into those also and see if it tastes good in your coffee.
So stevia is recommended or no? It isn't.
It is. It's plant-based. It is plant.
Okay.
And Dr. O, there were a couple of follow-up questions or comments regarding organic coffee. Is green tea okay? Raw honey in coffee, not sugar?
Green tea is good. Again, maybe 1 cup a day. Everything in moderation. Raw honey and all that. On the honey bottle, it actually tells you what you have. If it's just honey, that's good honey. If it has honey and some other things, I would discourage the use of that. You're muted. You're muted.
Before we go on to
Olivia's
question, I wanted to ask a question that was asked much earlier. Is kombucha good? So many young people drink kombucha. So many young people enjoy the beverage. And so there have been 3 or 4 questions. Is it good?
I'm going to defer to Sandra on that one. I don't know.
Sorry, but I don't even know what that is.
So there's juices that are being promoted heavily on the market.
What is it?
With this nutrient in it. So I'm going to defer to leave it as we did the.
Jen, it's a combination of probiotics. So that's the biggest thing that they're promoting with it. The science and medical people are still out on that. So
that's why I was trying to save it for.
I'll look it up and I'll see.
Dr. Caprice, thank you so much. She answered the question that it's something that's being heavily promoted as being a wake up. They're selling it in the Whole Foods market, every grocery store, every convenience store, and even on many menus now that we've been through COVID and takeout. And so I think it's worth in a follow-up conversation addressing it, because so many of our young millennials, teenagers, 20 and 30-year-olds are really drinking a lot of that product. And we got a request. Olivia, I'm going to ask you to unmute your mic and go ahead with the next question, because you also asked, and I'll add Sandra's number and email website address in the chat. Oh, someone put it in again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all I wanted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Olivia. We have a number of questions that were in our chat box from earlier. One is with regard to the magnesium list. A number of people are saying they absolutely want the list. They're looking forward to getting it. So we'll be able to send you an email to get it. If you don't, please email Medical Mondays DrO@gmail.com. That's Medical Mondays, DRO@gmail.com. And Sandra will provide the full list. But Sandra, do you want to just give a few comments off the list for our audience?
Yeah, sure. So the magnesium foods, right? So on the top of the list actually is dark chocolate, as we're talking about earlier. And then you have avocado, and it's incredibly good. And it's a good source of magnesium. And 1 avocado provides 58 grams of magnesium, which is about 15% of the RDI. So if you take half, when they say avocado, you shouldn't take the full one, because 1 medium avocado contains 300 to 350 calories. So just half is good. And then you have nuts. And when we talk of nuts, we talk on all types of nuts, almond, cashew nuts, Brazil nuts, and all of that. And 1 ounce, which is like 28 grams per serving of like cashew nuts, for example, it's really good. And it's 20% of the RDI. So that's good as well. And you have legumes. This is beans, soybeans, peas. These are very rich in many nutrients, including magnesium. So the good quantity is 1 cup of maybe beans contains 150 mg of magnesium. So that is really good. And you can also have legumes are also high in potassium. So when you're getting the legumes, know that you're getting the magnesium and you're getting the potassium. Then you have seeds. That's another source of magnesium. So pumpkin seeds, like for us Africans, West African side, we have egusi soup. So yeah, that's where our African food comes comes in play. You can actually have that. And then you have I talked about chia seeds and pumpkin seeds. Yeah, so that's really good. And again, the serving for that is 28 grams. And then you have fish. That's especially the fatty fish. And it's very high in magnesium, like salmon, mackerel. Yeah, so you can get that when you're looking for magnesium food. And we have the almighty bananas. It contains, it can lower blood pressure for bananas, and is linked to reducing heart diseases, like that. And 1 large banana is packed with 37 grams of magnesium. So that's good. And then you have leafy vegetables. That's green, significant, such as it has a significant amount of magnesium, like kale, spinach, collard green, turnips, mustard greens, and all of that. And again, it's 1 cup per serving. That is good for us. And it has 157 mg of magnesium.
Thank you. I just wanted to, I saw something in the chat that said not to promote cigarettes, increasing concentration. You see, in medicine, learned in the US, we tell the truth. Cigarette is bad for you. And I can, go over the evils and ugliness of cigarette from head to toe. However, one thing that cigarette does is it increases concentration. If you ever thought, you should think, why are people addicted to what? To certain things. People will eat and overeat and become obese. It's an addiction. There's something you're getting from whatever it is that caused you to get addicted, that you still want in it. People who smoke, it increases their concentration. That's why. But what I was saying is that instead of smoking, you can drink a cup of coffee. You can drink a cup of tea, has caffeine in it. And the caffeine in those things would increase your concentration. And that there's research that has shown that coffee can actually decrease the incidence of certain cancers. So just to reiterate what I said, I wasn't encouraging cigarette smoking. I'm begging that you don't smoke. If you smoke, it's not good for your health.
Thank you so much, Dr. O. And Sandra and Dr. O, there have been a series of questions, and I just want to go down the line. They're all nutritions, this or that. One is egg whites or eating eggs. Should we eat eggs with yolks or egg whites?
Egg whites are better. The egg yolk is laden in fat. If you're going to eat all eggs with the yolk, I would recommend not more than twice a week. The egg whites, though, is healthy, but not the powdered. There is powdered eggs now. I don't know what's in it. There is powdered eggs.
The next is with regard to nuts. Nuts, should they be raw or not? Roasted, salted, unsalted?
Sheesh. Well, Sandra, you want to take that or should I? You muted.
Okay, let me just take that. So with nuts, if we can just try to have our things as organic as possible, we'll not have a problem. So I usually don't encourage salted nuts. It's not like it's completely bad for you, but I do not encourage it because I know we're still going to make mistakes with other things that we eat. So if we can just keep our nuts simple, roasted, however, but not salted, just have the nuts in the natural form, as natural, as organic as possible.
Thank you. The
Yeah,
next
Dr. O.
is beans. Are beans good for you? And if they are, canned or dried?
Okay. Beans is a really good source of protein and other things. It's really good. Now, the reason why I'm not so much on the canned side is because it contains preservatives. Like the canned beans has a lot of preservatives to actually keep it in the state in which it is. So if you can have dry beans or regular beans, I don't know which one is regular beans anymore, but if you can just have organic beans, that's okay. It's really good for you. The canned one, not so much, because it has a lot of preservatives. Like most people ask me these questions too when it comes to fish, and they ask me, oh, how about sardine? Yeah, it's in a can. They have to preserve it, so it has preservatives. If you're gonna have sardine, can you please just drain out the oil or the water, whatever it is that is in it, and again, it goes down to portion.
Thank you. The next is with regard to salmon. Do we want farm raised or wild catch?
Well, definitely wild catch, because farm raised, you worry about mercury and other heavy metals. So if you can get the wild catch, it's better.
Thank you. Earlier, a question was asked about glycinate supplements. Someone said that they were excited to hear about the magnesium-rich foods, but the glycinate supplement form, what do you say is the best? What's the daily recommended dose? There's some discrepancy out there in the media and literature.
Sandra, that's your question. Glycinate.
Okay, so I'm just gonna talk generally on supplements, if that's okay. So I really encourage people to get everything that they need from food, and you should only like rely on supplements like when you're sick and you can't eat at all. If you can eat, then that's when you go for supplements. Otherwise, the analogy that Ephraim was giving earlier, like how many goats do you see in a pharmacy trying to ask for medicine? That's because they eat grass, regular, things from God. So if we can just focus on eating food rather than getting supplements, our future self is gonna really thank us.
And the question was also asked that Dr. O answered in the chat. And Dr. O, I'm going to ask it so that you can state it on the Zoom. Should your physician and nutritionist work together to get you a balanced nutrition plan?
I said it depends on the physician. Physicians are not nutritionists, and unless the physician is actually interested in that part of health, they won't, and they don't have to, because it's not part of what we it's not part of what we do, basically. But a physician who is interested in nutrition will discuss it, and we refer to nutritionists. I mentioned the case study that I did refer my patient who is diabetic and could not get his blood sugars down to a nutritionist to assist in the care before he found Sandra through his sister. But it depends on the physician. And I don't think a physician is right or wrong going either way. If you look at what happens in clinic, look at how much time we spent tonight. And we have not even scratched the surface. There is no time in clinic to discuss diet and to do justice for a physician. But partnering with a nutritionist where there's a dialogue in, okay, this is how your patient is doing. My patient did not show up or didn't want to show up anymore, wanted to take a break. Sandra is, I mean, I don't even have the words to thank her, because she went the extra mile to now bridge that gap so that we can communicate. That's fantastic. That's how patients can get the best. I think it's a good thing for physicians and nutritionists to work together for the best of the patient. Like physicians work together with other specialists. You know, we communicate with other specialists. I think it will be a good thing. And I'm so excited to have met Sandra.
So just to piggyback on that, it's beginning to happen a lot because I live in the DMV area, and this place, we are highly like, there's so many Africans here, and most Africans don't follow their nutrition plan because they're not comfortable maybe with the food that their nutritionists are telling them to eat. So most physicians around this area that actually partnered with Britslam, I go into most clinics like twice a week just to do nutrition counseling. So they like put the patients together. They have blood pressure patients, diabetic patients, and they tell them, okay, the nutritionist will be coming today to speak to you and all of that, and just give you nutritional counseling. That's how they get most of their clients to actually stay in and get the nutritional counseling, because when you refer them, most of them don't follow through. They tell you they have when they wouldn't do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now Isabella has her hand raised. Isabella.
Yes, hi, good evening. Awesome.
Hello.
I just want to make a big comment, and I just want to say thank you, Sis Sandra. Thank you, Dr. O, Dr. Jennifer, and Dr. Caprice. I've really enjoyed this session. And I just want to let you know that you mentioned kombucha. Kombucha,
yes.
I can tell you that those of my colleagues that drink in the office, when they drink it, believe me, they run around like they're high on steroids. So I'm not sure what kombucha is all about, but I tested it, and it's for most Africans here, it tastes like palm wine. If you've taken palm wine at home, fermented drink, that's exactly what it tastes like. So I just want to let you know that I know a little bit about kombucha from my colleagues at work. And they high. It's like drinking coffee and running around. They have energy and strong energy the whole day, and it doesn't make you hungry. So you can, I'm not trying to promote it, but I'm trying to tell you what I've experienced and what I've seen happening with my colleagues with this kombucha drink. So just wanted to share that, Dr. Jennifer and Dr. O.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you for highlighting, because as I was sharing, so it's so mass marketed right now in the field of supplements. There's not sufficient FDA regulation, and we all know that. And it's a multi-billion-dollar industry and growing. And so that's why we always need to have a nutritionist and a physician, our primary care physician, working with us to make sure that we are getting most of our nutrition from foods, and that if we're going to supplement, let it be with guidance. So thank you, Isabella. Okay, and there is one other question that was with regard to much earlier. I'm going back to it because messages came in that blocked. So there was a question about cancer and teas. Sorrel herbal tea is the product that's being asked about, and is it a good thing to be used to treat cancer?
Dr. Caprice is the oncologist. However, I don't know of any teas that treats cancer. in my reading so far. Caprice, any comment?
What I mean, we have our PDR and all the things with the alternatives. I just want to put it out there again. There are many natural things that God has given us that helps us with disease and disorders, but we can't really say 100% that one is better than the other. It's just a combination of, using these things and doing clinical trials and making sure that you're working in a comprehensive manner with what you're doing as well as what your provider is helping you with. So it's like a 360, it's a closed circle. Not one thing can help. The body is so complex, it's amazing. So it's not just one thing, but there are things that really actually helps us with diseases and disorders, if that will answer your question. So it's not just cancer, it's all kinds of things that we deal with in our body. And it takes like a comprehensive method in order to combat it. So preventative is better than dealing with it. That's what I can say about anything.
Thank you.
I like the combination part of it. That's great answer. Thank you. And
Well,
maybe you can bring your friend from 15 years ago who survived cancer by diet. We need to make her to tell you what it is that she did with the diet to have overcome that, disease. And it will be a big medical breakthrough if you can just, see if she can devote the information to you as to what she was doing.
So can I also say this too, and I'll just say this. Cancer is just an uncontrollable growth, right? And in our body, before it even shows up, we have things that are growing, right? That our body is already, our immune system is already attacking. So it's not just when it shows up, it's when we're actually just helping our body to be the best they can be to combat anything that's coming in or that we're fighting with. That's what I can say too.
So Manasseh, I pray that I can reach her, and I promise that if I get information from her, I would definitely share, because you're right, that would be a great breakthrough. There are no teas that we know right now that cures cancer, whether in combination with something else or alone. We don't. We practice research-based, randomized research-based medicine in the United States. And unless something has been research proven, we don't recommend them. But even outside of research, there isn't any that I know offhand. But a naturopath, when we're able to bring him on, will have those suggestions, those answers. And Sandra answered a question earlier about combining these natural things with chemo. I held back because I wanted a naturopathic doctor to speak. When I've introduced patients to him, they highly recommend not to use chemo. They feel that, the chemo actually destroys cells and all in the body and makes the body too weak to be able to now respond well to their natural interventions. So when we bring him on, I know these questions will come up and maybe we'll get answers. But I don't want to put something out there and give us false hope that we don't know. There are so many things we don't know. But a lot of researches are going on cancer. And we have moved, since I was in medical school to now, there's been a lot of progress.
Dr. O, there was another question that was asked about COVID-19. Olivia, were you about to ask a question, a follow-up question?
No, please.
Okay. Dr. O, there was a question, a very specific question. Can someone with a platelet count of 1262 take the COVID-19 vaccine?
Okay. 1262 platelet count is normal platelet count. So the question then is, can someone with a normal platelet count take COVID vaccine? And the answer is yes, yes, yes. Like we've discussed in the first session, we don't know a lot about COVID, and we have known a lot about it. We're still learning. The long-term effects of things are not known, but there is a doctor, because you may go to Google and find this and say, Dr. O did not tell us that. There is a doctor who in OBGYN in Florida who got I think it was the Pfizer vaccine that he got, and 2 days later he developed spots. We call it petechiae, red spots in his hands and his legs. Being a physician, he knew something was amiss. So he went to the emergency room and they did all sorts of tests and found out that he had 0 platelets. 0. And you need the platelets. Platelets is what you need for blood to clot. If you cut your hand or have an injury, the reason it stops bleeding eventually is because of platelets that come to the scene to cause that bleeding to stop. So he was admitted into the ICU. We do transfuse platelets, and they did all sorts of things, but the platelets did not come up. And 14 days later, he suffered a stroke. 16 days later, he died. But that was one case that was reported out of how many? So with normal platelets, I would say it's okay to take the vaccine. There's been thousands, millions of people that have taken the vaccine with normal platelets and they've done well.
Much, Dr. O. Thank you everyone for staying on and hanging in here with us for Medical Mondays. Thank you so much, Sandra. We have your information. We've shared your information. Thank you so much to Mariah Benjamin for her amazing strawberries that she shared with us tonight. Thank you, Dr. O, Dr. Caprice, and all of you audience members for joining us tonight. We are going to conclude our evening and just thank each and every one of you for all of your feedback, all of your comments. Again, you can contact us directly by emailing us at medicalmondaysdro for Dr. O, medicalmondaysdro@gmail.com. In addition to that, you can find more information about our amazing expert, Dr. O, at Gennesaret Medical Center, at Global Vision Health Community Health Center, as well as at the websites at the bottom of the flyer. If you need Dr. O, please reach out to her directly at blessedmd411@gmail.com. I'll enter all of this into the chat box. If you have any comments, enter them into the chat box. We'll be able to look at your comments and respond later. And we're going to close our night.
Wow.
Thank you so much, everyone, for an absolutely amazing, amazing Medical Mondays. This concludes our programming for the night. Dr. O, do you have any closing comments?
Oh, no. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for blessing us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Caprice. Do you have any closing comments?
No, God bless you guys. Thank you very much. Good night.
All right, have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you next week.